The Madison Metropolitan School District is asking the state for more money. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Mark McPherson.
And I'm Mackenzie Davis. They aren't the only district, though. Superintendent Joe Gothard signed onto a letter along with the leaders of Wisconsin's 4 other largest school districts. WMTV's Sam Swartz read through that letter and joins us now with the latest developments in Wisconsin's K-12 funding debate.
Mark McKenzie, superintendents from Milwaukee, Kenosha, Racine, Green Bay, and right here in Madison said their districts are struggling to get by as pressures like inflation continue to rise. Those leaders pointed out the state's $4 billion surplus and said they were profoundly disappointed in the state's new budget that gave no increase to general aid for schools. While the formula Wisconsin uses to fund its public schools is complicated,
Wisconsin has a particularly complex system of school funding.
The message from the state's 5 largest school districts is clear.
We haven't had an increase in general state aid that is anywhere near sufficient.
Madison Metropolitan School District Superintendent Dr. Joe Gothard is one of the 5 leaders representing over 140,000 students.
We've seen cuts over the years. We've seen reduction in services and supports that we can provide.
School districts in the Badger State are limited by the legislature on how much money they can bring in.
The legislature said, we are not going to increase state aid at all, not by 1 penny on general aid.
UW-Madison professor emeritus Andrew Rezchovsky says that since the money from the state isn't going up, districts are only allowed to use property taxes.
Led many districts to say, wait a minute, that isn't enough money, and have gone to referendum. That's the only way to get around the revenue caps in Wisconsin.
Gothard says it would be unfair for MMSD to turn to voters year after year.
We're looking for balance, and I think our community deserves that as well.
Meanwhile, Superintendent Vicki Beyer heads up public schools in Green Bay. She says her district is already preparing for a referendum if support doesn't come.
If the funding formula does not change, every district's going to have to go to referendum. We absolutely will have to.
This is going to become a constant, agenda for us to make sure that we're present in how funding is decided in the state of Wisconsin.
District leaders also said the legislature isn't doing enough in the budget to support students with disabilities. They added now that the state is expected to bring in $1.5 billion more dollars than expected, that lawmakers should uphold their commitments to special education funding. Reporting in studio, Sam Swartz, WMTV 15 News.
All right, Sam, thank you. Cost of living funding increases used to be part of the state's funding formula, but those were cut in 2009. The school leaders said in their letter that had those provisions remained in place, school communities wouldn't need to turn to voters for extra support.